Kakadosh, you remember we spoke about the other night, Atbash. Aleph is Taf, Bet is Shin, Gimel, right, is Resh, right? Dalet is Kuf. We spoke about this, that we said on every single Monday and Thursday, on Monday we do Anshe Emunah Avadu. Anshe Emunah Avadu is Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Vav, Zayin, Chet, right? Anshe Emunah Avadu. Bayim Bechoch Masem. Giborim, Dochim et Gezerot. Hayulan Enochma. Right? So we do Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. On Thursday, you do Tashrak. What is Tashrak? Tamanu Meraot, Shachnu Alimot, Shachnu Rachum Ki Chibotenu, Keshe Olef Machnu. Yes, I'm not. Yeah, fine. So now what happened? If you remember, right, the best is getting at Fateh Chaliyahu. So here it is, I have it. So 1 second. So now on Mondays and Thursdays, though, right after the Anshe Emunah Avadu and Tamanu Meraot, we come and we say like this: Elokenu lekavotenu al ta'simanu kala. So it's Aleph, Taf. Yeah? Bevotocha negdecha, shemenu misifecha odemach. Bet, Shin. Yeah? Bet, Shin. Gishtecha lachubusar, rachamecha iklumozecha. Gimel, Resh. Dalut maasim beshurecha, Dalet, Kuf. So what we did the last shiur was, I think it was last Wednesday night. No, it was last Wednesday night. Last Wednesday night. What we did was, we went through all the Moadim, right? And what we did is that we went and we said, Aleph of Pesach is Tisha B'Av. So if Aleph of Pesach was Wednesday night, Thursday, Tisha B'Av is Wednesday night, Thursday. Bet of Pesach is Thursday night, Friday, is Shavuot. When was Shavuot? Thursday night, Friday. Right? No, but we did it also at nighttime. No, we did it at nighttime also. Right? So Bet is Shin. Gimel, right? The third day of Pesach is Shabbat. What is Gimel? Resh, Rosh Hashanah. When does Rosh Hashanah come out? On Shabbat. So Rosh Hashanah is on Shabbat this year. And also Sukkot, because it's always 3 weeks later. Right? Gimel is Resh. Right? Dalid, fourth day is Sunday. Kriyat Torah. Simchat Torah on Sunday this year. Yeah? So Simchat Torah, Sunday. Hey, the fifth day of Pesach is Monday. What is Monday? Vav was, sorry, I said hey. No?
Yes, hey.
So hey, I just said hey was Tzadi. Tzom Kippur. So when is Kippur? Sunday night, Monday. It's this year. Ask Lorenzo. Sunday night, Monday. Right? The next one, right? Vav, which is Monday night, Tuesday. What is Monday night, Tuesday? Right? What is Tuesday? Purim Shavar. When was Purim last year? Purim was this year. I mean, when was it? It was on Tuesday. Capish or not? So that's what we did. Huh? Right after Hey is Vav. And after so Vav is connected to Pei. Vav, Vetashiv Shula, Petach Avreshem. So the Vav, the sixth day of Pesach, is Pei. Which Purim? Purim Shavar. Purim. Pesach is the Mafteach. Rosh Chodesh Nisan is the entrance of everything, right? And every day of Pesach is going to teach you all the Moadim of the entire year. Yeah? Fine. Okay? Fine. Until here we're clear. Fine. Now we went to Sif Aleph, and in Sif Aleph we were going to explain why there's certain days that Pesach cannot come out. So we sent out the picture last time. If everyone remembers that one on Jack on the Kinyan Masechta, we went.
I'm going to have some more at my office, and I'm going to bring it.
Okay, so we have it there. One page we sent out was the At Bash, everything that we just did right now, and then the other one was the first Sif in Shulchan Aruch Taf Kaf Chet. These are the days that you cannot do the Moadim. Lo Adu Rosh. Rosh Hashanah cannot come out on Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. Right? I'm in Shulchan Aruch, Siman Taf Kafchet, Sif Aleph. Lo Adu Rosh. Lo Ga'o Kippur. Kippur cannot come out on Tuesday, Sunday, and Friday. Right? It says Lo Zeved Purim. Purim cannot come out on Shabbat, Zayin, Monday, and Wednesday. Yeah? Then it says Pesach. Lo Badu Pesach. Pesach cannot come out on Bet, Talid, Vav. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now the question is, why? And then we said, if you remember, that Lag BaOmer was the same day as Lag BaOmer was the same day as Purim. Plag. Peleg. Peleg Amincha, that's a siman to remember. Plag, right? Peleg. That's what it. Peleg, Plag Amincha. So Pei Purim, Lag Purim and Lag, there's Zoto Yom. Always going to be the same day. Okay? So therefore, if it was Tuesday, so Lag BaOmer was Tuesday. Right? That's the way it is. Uvyom Shia Chanukah, Atzeret. Right? The same thing if the day of Chanukah is going to be the same day as the Tzedek, it's Yom Chazir Fire. Now the question is, how do we get this? How do we get this? It's a nice siman. Aleph is tough. So the first day of Pesach is Tisha B'Av. We gave an entire shiur on that, by the way. We gave an entire shiur from Rav Weitzman, that he's one of the heads of Arachim, the connection between Pesach, the first day of Pesach, and Tisha B'Av. Why is it dafka that the first day of Pesach is Tisha B'Av? Ma kesher. What's the connection? So obviously one of them is the Geulah, and one of them is going to be what?
The Geulah as well is going to be.
It will be a Geulah, but until then, it's the Churban. The Churban and the Geulah, they're both showing our emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm going to give you the entire shiur on Regel Small. On Regel Small, on the left foot, I'm going to come and I'm going to give you, right, Al Regel Achat. I'm going to give you the shiur. The Yesod was, how does it make sense that for Tisha B'Av, we read the Parasha Ki Toli Banim Uvnei Banim, which is in the middle of Parasha Va'etchanan. And then we read Va'etchanan on Shabbat. And when we read it for Tisha B'Av, it's something sad. And we're reading it on Shabbat, it's like a Nachamu. Nachamu Ami, Shabbat of consolation. How does it make sense? Is it a consolation or is it something bad? Is it something sad or no? So basically the Yesod is that Pesach is the time that through the miracles, we come and we say the Emunah v'Kadosh Baruch Hu, we see it with our eyes. On Tisha B'Av, through the same miracles of the destruction, we see HaKadosh Baruch Hu with our eyes as well. Because there are certain things which didn't make sense. When a person comes and takes an arrow and starts shooting it at the opposite direction, and no matter what's going to happen, it's always going to fly back towards Yerushalayim, there's something wrong here. So that's what it's showing, is that there are certain things that just doesn't make sense. So therefore, through the destruction, we were also able to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that in itself is the biggest nechama as well. I mean, even though it's destruction, but it's nechama, it's consolation. That's the entire shiur, just to wrap it up, the connection between Aleph and Tisha B'Av, Pesach and Tisha B'Av. However, though, today we're going to speak about the Biur Halacha. The Biur Halacha is going to speak about why is it that you can't have, for example, Kippur on Gimel Aleph Vav. Why can't I have a Kippur on a Friday? Why can't I have a Kippur on a Sunday? Why can't I have a Kippur on Tuesday? So let's learn the Biur Halacha and listen carefully. Biur Halacha mefurash. Vayen seder hakvuot batur. Right? He comes and he says like this. Vine. Right? He comes and he says, right? Klal ha'inyan. Elu hayamim she'en kovin. Klal ha'inyan. The general rule. Leolam tzarich lirot shelo yeh yom ha'kippurim b'yom aleph velo b'yom vav. Kippur, that means we're going to start now on the starting point. The starting point is Kippur. Kippur can never come out on a Sunday or a Friday. He says, why? Because we do not want to have 2 days which are right beside each other, which are asurim min Torah in all the melachot. Meaning, Yom Tov you could have right before and after Shabbat. Why? You're allowed to do melacha on Yom Tov. You could cook, you could bake, right? You could do certain things of melachot, of food, you could do it. On Kippur, asur. On Shabbat, asur. So imagine, right, especially the olden days where they didn't have fridges and freezers and plata chashmalis and how do you call it, and timers. Imagine right now I'm going to tell you that there's 2 days in a row where you can't do nothing with food. It's going to be a problem. So if I'm going to have a Kippur on a Friday, or I'm going to have a Kippur on a Sunday, I'm in trouble. So therefore, they made the calendar where it's impossible to have Kippur on Friday or Sunday in order not to have 2 days which are asurim in every melacha. You cannot have 2 days which are asurim melacha. Because it's like 2 days of Shabbat straight one after another. It's very difficult. You understand? You could have a Yom Tov, and then you could have Shabbat, or Shabbat, and then a Yom Tov. But to have 2 days of Shabbat, very, very difficult. So because of that, they made it that the calendar does not have Kippur on a Sunday or a Friday. Okay, the reason is brought down in the Gemara Masechet Rosh Hashanah Daf Kaf. V'gam shelo yeh Hoshana Rabbah b'yom HaShabbat. Hoshana Rabbah can also not come out on Shabbat. Kedei shelo tidche, in order that it's not going to be pushed off. Netilat ha'aravah, the taking of the aravah. We know on Hoshana Rabbah they used to take the aravot. Right? That's what we do until today. We have the minhag of the aravah. So they used to take the Hoshana Rabbah is a very, very holy day. And we didn't want that if it comes out on Shabbat, what are you going to do now? Nobody could take the aravot. You can't do nothing. So therefore, it can't come out on Shabbat. So now, according to this, we just explained the entire seif. That's all that you needed to know. I gave you the where's Yohan? I gave him the, how do you call it? The key. And now that I gave you this key, the entire rest of the seif, right? The formula of the, everything makes sense. So let's start. So he says, how does it start? So he says like this. If you're going to tell me that Rosh Hashanah will come out on a Sunday, Wednesday, or Friday, so then Kippur will come out on Aleph Gimel Vav, right? It will come out on Sunday, Tuesday, or a Friday, right? We just said on Kippur on Sunday and Friday you can't, right? But you can't have 2 days holy to each other. And on Tuesday you cannot, right? Because then Rosh Hashanah Rabbah will come out on Shabbat. So that means Kippur cannot come out on Sunday and Friday because we already explained why. And it cannot come out on Tuesday because if it comes out on Tuesday, and that's the 10th, so the 21st will come out on Shabbat. So therefore it cannot come out on Tuesday, so Rosh Hashanah Rabbah does not come out on Shabbat. So he says, Kishnasa Zeved, which is Purim, right now, when you're going to have the Purim will come out on Shabbat, Monday or Wednesday, right? So then Yom Rishon of Pesach will come out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now, if you're going to tell me it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so then Shavuot will be Tuesday, Thursday, and Shabbat, and Hoshana Rabbah, because we just said that Hoshana Rabbah and Shavuot are the same day. So Hoshana Rabbah and Shavuot, right? Just if you want to remember, how do you remember that? Hoshana Rabbah, you stay up all night, and Shavuot, you stay up all night. Just remember that, right? It's very easy to remember that. Hoshana Rabbah and Shavuot. So they're always going to be the same night. So when was Hoshana Rabbah this year? If you just told me that Shavuot is Thursday night, Friday, so you already know that Hoshana Rabbah this year is going to be Thursday night, Friday. Yeah? So he says, you can't do that because you cannot take the Aravah on Shabbat. And you can't do it on Tuesday and Thursday because then Kippur will come out on Friday and Sunday. And that you also can't do it. Right? The first day of Chanukah cannot come out on a Tuesday, because we already said that lo adu, right, on Rosh Hashanah. So mimila, it cannot come that Chanukah will be on Gimel, right, whether it's going to be Chaser or not. Velo agu is going to be Tzom Esther, but then Zevet is going to be Purim. Velo badu Tzom Tammuz v'Tzom Bet Tisha B'Av. Timken yeh mikro Rosh Hashanah b'Yom adu v'zeh yefshar. Meaning everything became connected. Because if you're going to come now and you're going to tell, meaning everything that you're going to do is going to be connected where the formula starts. The formula started on Kippur, that you cannot have Kippur on Sunday and Friday or on a Tuesday because Mimela then Hoshana Rabbah will be on Shabbat, right? And from there, right, all of a sudden what happens? Everything else is going to be connected, that you cannot have the Rosh Hashanah, you cannot have nothing, right? And so everything is going to be connected one to thing. Which one? The Arava, exactly, Hoshana Rabbah. So you see from here that the Hoshanot are more important. And the reason why is because the shofar, you could do the shofar by not blowing the shofar and keeping the Shabbat. That in itself is even a higher, that's even in a higher level. Right? That's a higher level. But the Hoshanot, you couldn't do it another day. Once it was pushed off, it was pushed off. You understand? So even the Rosh Hashanah, you could still do it the second day. And even if it wasn't the second day, the concept of the Rosh Hashanah, here, this is coming out that it's more important. Okay? So therefore he says, we don't have to write everything the way that it is. But you should only know also another general rule. From Chodesh Tevet ve'elach, Yelchu HaChodashim ad Chodesh Cheshvan kesidran. Tevet is chaser. Shvat is maleh, right? Adar is chaser. If it's going to be 2 months of Adar, so one of them is, the first one is going to be maleh. Nisan is maleh. Iyar is chaser. Sivan is maleh. Tammuz is chaser. Av is maleh. Elul chaser. Tishri is maleh. Aval Cheshvan and Kislev, sometimes it changes. And then you're going to understand what the Shulchan Aruch says, that the day of Purim will come Lag BaOmer, which is Yud Chet Iyar, Ki Yutet Shavuot B'Tzimtzum, because it's 9 weeks exactly after Purim. So Lag BaOmer is 9 weeks exactly after Purim, and that's why Lag BaOmer and Purim are the same thing. Which means this, you know that in the English, right, Lavdil Elef of the Lord, how do you know the months? You start January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. That you just get the 30 or 31. Okay, February is obviously the exception to the rule that it's 28 to 29, but the akavanah is chaser. So maleh and chaser, full and lacking, you do it with your knuckles, right? January is 31, right? February is chaser. March is 31, April is chaser, right? And you continue going. July and August, they're both maleh, because one of them is here, right? Which is this part of the, and the other one is the other part. So therefore, it's going to be, they're both maleh, they're both 31, right? Which one? You do. January, February, March, April, May, June, July is a big one. July.
And then
August
again.
July is the last one. And then, yeah, July, August. And then September, October, November, December. December again out there. So therefore, that's how you do it in the English calendar. How do you do it in the Ivrit? So in the Ivrit is going to be the same way that it's going to be one full, one lacking, one full, one lacking, one full, one lacking. So the way to remember is, if you want to remember nicely, is you start with the twos, right? The two bishvats, right? Or the kings, the melachim. Two bishvat, right, is always maleh. Shvat is maleh. Why is Shvat maleh? You've got two bishvat, Rosh Hashanah Lilanot, right? Maleh, right? Shvat. Adar is chaser, right? Is lacking. Nisan, right? Nisan is going to be maleh, obviously. That's Rosh Chodesh, Rosh Hashanah, Kol Rosh Hashanim. So it's maleh. Iyar, chaser. Sivan, you got the Shavuot, right? So it's another Keter Torah. So therefore it's going to be maleh, right? What did I say? Tammuz, lacking. Tetvav, Tu Be'av, right? The 15th of Av, right? So also it's going to be maleh. Elul, chaser, right? Tishri, you've got the Tu Be'av, the Sukkot, right? So what is it going to be? It's going to be maleh. Now Cheshvan and Kislev, those are the 2 months that they all depend. Sometimes you could have one of them is maleh, one of them is chaser, one of them chaser, one of them maleh, both chaser. There's a whole bunch of different things how to do those two, but that's why you always go with the months. Now, according to that, you're going to find out the rest of the calendar. So again, this is beautiful just to understand why basically the mafteach, the key, right, to the legend, the way how we open up everything was going to start from Kippur, but according to that, we're going to come and we're going to explain everything else. Tomorrow, I'm going to share with you a beautiful idea that my daughter showed me, right, something incredible, in the Mishmar, right, at the beginning of the Mishmar, I'm going to give you something incredible to do with months of the year and Yaakov and Esav. How everything depends upon Yaakov and Esav, everything depends upon the Ekev, the months of the year, something incredible. When you're going to hear it, you're going to fall off the chair. Yeah, Bezat Hashem, hopefully we'll record it and everything, Bezat Hashem, and we'll have everything there.